Yay! Yo, it's Ugly Truck Driver. How the flock are you? Well, it's Tuesday night. I'm kind of sitting here shaking my head a little bit. Um, our world is violent. Violence exists virtually everywhere, whether it's war, terrorism, gang violence, domestic violence. And of course, if you go look in the Bible, we've had violence for thousands and thousands of years. I don't know. I must be getting old. I must be getting soft. I must be getting mush brained because it kind of bothers me a little bit. I mean, at one time, I was kind of a hard case son of a bitch. I probably still am if pushed to the limit. But I've been watching this thing over there in, was it Afghanistan, where a bunch of Al Qaeda types went in, shot up a school, killed 128 kids and their teachers. And even Al Qaeda in Iraq said that was bad. I mean, that's like the pot calling the kettle black, if you know what I mean. I mean, even Al Qaeda over in Iraq sat there and said ISIS is worse than they ever could be. And that was a couple of months back, but they got buried. I don't know, folks. Listen, you know me. I don't have all the answers. I just ask the questions. But, we've got these anti-gunner types here in America that wants to sit there and disarm the American population. There's something going on in the United Nations that are trying to pass this thing to disarm the world, if you know what I mean. The only problem is here in the United States, it's got to go through our Congress to get approved, disapproved. I would remind you that something similar happened in Australia a few years back, where they disarmed the Australian citizens and then witnessed this rogue act by this lone wolf in a chocolate shop in Australia. And what happened there? There needs to be common sense, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon. I've come to the point that I've said this before. Some of my friends through the years have heard me discuss this, that America has lost its rudder, has lost its roots, has lost its values, has lost what made America great, the ability to stand up and fight, the ability to protect other people that are being abused, and the socialist, communist, liberalist, progressives, and their whiny ass crap, just want to level the playing field. It's kind of like Common Core education these days. Most people don't know about it. They don't care about it. It's in their school systems. It's destroying their kids' minds. But they just go along with the program. Common Core says, not that you should all start even, but you should end up even. I don't find anywhere in the Constitution where it says anything like that. It's called the pursuit of happiness, where, we all start out even, and how far we get down the road and how successful we are is where we get our rewards. Or as I've always said, welfare is not an occupational goal in America, even though there's a bunch of people that think it is. I want my Obama phone. I want my food stamps. I want my free housing, all that good shit. But this stuff keeps me up at night. That's terrible. When you're old and you're single and you're living alone, you watch maybe a little too much TV, you hang on the internet maybe a little too much, And you see all this crap coming down, and it's like you would like to grab somebody by the throat and choke the living pea, wine, and dog poop out of them and say, yo, stupid, wake up. And like I've said before, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years ago, if you told me about people like Glenn Beck, Alex Jones, the stuff that they were putting out, I'd have told you you're crazier than bat crap. And yet today, due to the internet, which they want to control, you see stuff that's posted. I mean, even the government has the balls to post stuff. Agenda 21 through the United Nations, FEMA camps in control, and martial law in America, as we are having our civil rights destroyed daily by governments, bureaucracies, our elected officials, as we just hit $18 trillion in debt. But I've said it before, is projected before Obama gets out of office, it'll be $23 trillion in debt. And they're fighting about the budget. I want to remind you, the last budget that was passed before this current piece of crap they just shoved through under our nose and is bad, to put it politely. The last budget that America had, the federal budget, was by George Bush back in 2007, which took effect in 2008. Did you notice that? From that point forward, America's been run on what they call continuing resolutions. According to the Constitution of the United States and the Articles of Confederation, our government, our Congress and our Senate have been in violation of the Constitution from 2008 to 2014. Because we haven't had a federal budget, and it's required every year. It's a requirement by law. And yet you sit there and you listen to these idiots inside the Beltway saying, you know, we got to do this because the Constitution says so. How many times have you heard a politician or a talking head on TV saying, our democracy demands it, our democracy, democracy. How dumb are you? America was not founded as a democracy. We were founded as a republic. Go look it the hell up. And you talking heads on TV, you politicians, federal, state, and local, we do not have a democracy. We have a republic. Not that it matters. I mean, these days it's like George Orwell, 1984, where the government wants to control you from cradle to grave. What you can do, what you can see, what you can say, where you can go. I mean, shit, Obamacare is a prime example of that. It's a disaster. I'm going to estimate, this is me speaking, I'm going to estimate there has to be at least 16 million pages of legislation since the turn of the century, because politicians, all they know how to do is legislate and make laws. They figure that's their job once they get in office. And after they're in office, the only thing they care about is getting reelected, you know, getting on the gravy train. I am willing to bet dollars to donuts 75% of that legislation that Congress shoves through it, the president signs, comes into law, creates bureaucracies which are unelected, unresponsive, takes an act to Jesus to get somebody fired or whatever prosecuted in them could be deleted, and America wouldn't be any worse off than what it was before then. That's back before the turn of the century. In case you don't know that, that would be about 1901. Another thing you need to be aware of. When Congress, back in 1776, first came together in Philadelphia, all the legislators were volunteers. They took it upon themselves to represent the states and communities they came from. They were not paid one thin dime. They paid for their own transportation, their own housing, their own food, and everything else to get from whatever state, colony, whatever they came from, to Philly to do this. On top of which, listen well, listen real hard, their original thing was to only meet a couple times a year to pass whatever necessary legislation was required to make the country run better. It was not a full-time job. You didn't get paid. They had no benefits. They did their stuff. They went back home. Some of them were farmers, lawyers, preachers, you name it. Stop that. Go look it up on the internet. It's there. What they used to do 238 years ago. I could have had a V8. Look what we've got today. As far as Robert's rules on parliamentary type stuff, it's a damn joke anymore with our legislature, whether it's federal, state, local, even down to your borough. It's all a farce. Robert's rules of law, Robert's rules of legislation. It's a damn farce. It's a joke. Virtually, and I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Socialist, Progressive, Conservative, Tea Party type, the whole friggin' bunch of them. We need to take a baseball bat, just whack them across the damn forehead and say, act right, son of a bitch. Because, see, all these individuals that we elect and send to our capital, whether it's federal, state, local, borough, has their own agendas, and they have people out there, and there, and there, and there, that are called lobbyists and big corporations that kick in hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get them reelected, but in the process they say, hey, we'll give you this money if you do this for us. CDC, bunch of other places like that, veterans. How about Monsanto with Agent Orange and Dow Chemical and our GMOs? That's just something that popped into my mind right now. How many times has Monsanto sued farmers and individual people regarding their copyright on their seeds, which are supposed to produce better, but they are not. I repeat, they are not the nutritional equivalent to natural seed, as they kill off the bumblebees that sit there and dust the crops down to make them grow. That's just another thing. But then we get into the black side of our government, you know, the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, God, you name it. Chemtrails in the skies. They're dropping aluminum. You got them big-ass radar antennas up in, what is it, Alaska, that they want to screw with the weather. I seem to think at one time or another there's all these millions and hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that our government spends. They talk about millions and billions and trillions like you and I talk about 5, 10s, 20s, and hundreds. But see, they're not paying the fucking bill. You and I are on the hook for it. Right now, last time I checked, you, me, our children, our grandchildren, and probably our great-grandchildren are on the hook for the expenditures created by our government to the tune of about $56,000 each. And that's according to the $17 trillion that we're in debt. But if you look at the unfunded mandates and everything else that goes with it, stuff that they won't talk about, stuff that they slide under the carpet you're not supposed to know about. And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Social Security, whether it's any other damn thing. The mis-expenditures by our government, I'm going to say at least since the turn of the century, at least, is about $121 trillion. And if the banks, the central banks, the Bilderbergs, the rest of them, the Fed, which is not a bank, it's a private bank. It's not run by the government, and our government pays them to print money? Or did you miss that? But we're about $121 trillion in debt. And if that ever gets called in, you think the prepper's been talking bullshit for years and years about being able to function without electricity or function without, going to a grocery store or buying a car or roughing it? You got no idea what the hell roughing it is if this economy goes in the fucking toilet. You don't have no water, you don't have no toilet, you got no electricity. All you city folk, you're going to die in about a month or two. The average grocery store only keeps 3 days worth of groceries in it. The average warehouse might last a week to 2 weeks. If there's no diesel fuel, there's no truck drivers to drive the stuff like that. There's nobody to produce it, transport it, refrigerate it, keep it fresh. Within a month, you'll be cannibals. You'll be killing each other for whatever scraps of food you can find. People think, well, preppers are crazier than batshit. No, preppers are smart. It doesn't matter whether the national economy goes in the toilet, martial law is declared, a national disaster occurs. Oh, how about our electric grid, which is so vulnerable right now? All it takes is somebody with a rocket to set an atomic bomb off over the center of the United States, creating an EMP event. That's an electromagnetic pulse that will destroy transformers and anything electronics, including the electronics in your car, which probably out of a $40,000 car is $10,000 worth of electronics. You're going to have an expensive piece of steel sitting there that just won't even run. Get your sneakers out, sucker. Get your backpack out. Learn how to fish. Learn how to can food. Learn how to go down, chop down wood and make fires and build shelters and live without running water in your house. Finding fresh, clean water, or how to purify it, if nothing else, if you run across it. Might want to learn how to eat rats, squirrels, dogs, cats. Just some things to think about. These are the things that run through my mind. I'm not a genius. I don't have all the answers. And at my age right now, if something bad happened like that, I don't even know if I could survive it. I'm trying. Right now I'm on retirement, limited income. I can't do the things that I wanted to do 3 or 4 years ago. Back then, I was tied up with minor things like child support, court systems, and stuff like that. So 2008, the economy went in the toilet. Thank you, Wall Street. What money I had saved up to retire on besides Social Security went bye-bye. Thank you, Wall Street. Thank you, government. Thank you, derivatives market. Thank you, mortgage industry. For you. So all that money that I would have had available at that time to prepare me for now where I am today is gone. I still have 1 or 2 aces up my sleeve, which I'm not even going to talk about. I intend to survive if the whole world goes in the toilet. Even if shit like Agenda 21 that the UN wants to try and pull here in the United States, corral everybody into little cities and live in little box apartments on top of each other, and you're not allowed to go out and live out in the hinterland. Depopulation of America. That's another thing. Depopulation of the world. Population. I mean, people like, what the hell's his name? Microsoft, Bill Gates, a lot of others, talking about 95% reduction in the world population. Well, we're at about 6 billion right now. It's pushing maybe 6.5. They're talking about trying to take it down to a couple 100 million. That means all the elitists get to survive and you and I get to suck wind, unless we're smart enough to stay off the grid. I mean, speaking of being on the grid and off the grid, let's look at Facebook coming up the first of the year. New rules and regulations, which I'm sure the NSA, the CIA, the FBI are just jumping through the hoops. I just took Facebook Messenger off my cell phone. Because as of the first of the year, if you've got it, they can access your pictures, your photos, everything else that you do from your cell phone. Sell information to third-party people. Give it to the government. I am contemplating. Everybody's in love. Everybody's got to have a cell phone. The old phone that used to sit in the house, the rotary dial type, ancient history. I remember a time when the phone would ring. If you weren't home, you weren't home. Call back later. But now everybody walks around. They got a phone up their ass. They got the internet in their hand. It's like Dick Tracy. Remember the old cartoons with Dick Tracy with a little watch on his wrist? He could talk and see people and shit. It's here. Unfortunately, so is George Orwell's 1984. You're watched everywhere you go. You walk out. You go out your front door, okay? You have no expectation of privacy anywhere in the world today. Every street corner's got a camera. Every business has a camera. The government's got cameras on street lights. You name it. They can get your license plate number. They can see in your car. You're walking down the street. You're on camera. You get places like New York, Chicago, Miami, Dallas, LA, all these big cities. Somebody wants to follow you, they can follow you from the time you walk out of your house till you go to work, go grocery shopping, meet your girlfriend, bang her in a goddamn street somewhere on a side thing, and then go back to your wife. It's all on camera. And now, supposedly, things like computers, things like these new digital TVs, things like your cell phone that got cameras built into them, they say can be switched on even when you have them switched off. And the government can listen to you, if not see you, or possibly see you. I mean, every cell phone I've seen today has got at least 2 cameras. They got one on the front side, one on the backside. It's got microphones. This camera I'm using right now on top of my monitor. Even when it's shut down, there's a possibility the government can turn it on, and the green light that tells me I'm up here recording right now won't even light up. That's the reason every once in a while I look up at it and I smile. I go, fuck you. Just in case somebody's looking in on me. But getting back to Facebook comes the first of the year. They got new rules and regulations coming out that you must agree to keep your Facebook account. Now, it's not only that. There's other social sites that are doing the same shit. And they put it right in black and white that they may share this stuff with certain governmental agencies, law enforcement, so on and so forth. You've heard me before talking about signing off and bugging out. Then I sat there and said, well, maybe I'll hang in for a little bit. I still haven't come to a definitive moment as to whether or not on December 31st that I'm going to sign off of my Facebook account and about 3 other social sites I'm on. So unless you got my personal home phone number, which is on here, but we know they're monitored too, or you got my email address, which we know is monitored, about the only way you'll be able to get a hold of me is to knock on my front door and know where I live, and we'll sit down and have coffee. Or maybe we'll just go out in a park somewhere where there's virtually no cameras around or any other monitoring device and talk and have a good time, have a beer, whatever. I have no idea. But see, this is shit that keeps me awake at night. Americans are being fucked over so bad it's pathetic. Well, actually, it's not America. It's everywhere. I don't care if you're South Africa. I don't care if you're the Philippines, India, Red China, Russia. All our governments are going, boop, 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 boop. But you know what? You ain't getting no Vaseline with it. It don't feel so good the next morning. You're a little raw and tender. But what do I know? I'm the dumb truck driver. I may even end up signing the hell off of YouTube. You know that? I got, what, 500, 600 videos here on YouTube? This is the 4th account that I've had that I've been thrown off 3 other times because I pick on gays, I pick on Muslims, I pick on the government, you name it. I'm out there constantly pissing somebody off. Why? I make people think. I say things that other people are ashamed or embarrassed to say. Been there, done that. Been around. I've been on this floor 68 years. Day I go out of here, I'm going to dance in the streets. God, take me home. I'm out of here. Kiss my grits. But it may be that we're going to get to a point to protect ourselves as much as we possibly can. If you want privacy, you want to be able to function without the government in the middle of your life, state, federal, or local, you may have to literally shut down your computer. Take that son of a bitch, pull it offline, box it up, stick it in a corner somewhere, and go back to what we had when I grew up in the 40s and the 50s. You want to talk about the economy taking a nosedive if we all did that? If everybody shut their computers down, box it up, go back to the old ways, because I'm guessing people that are watching me, I've got to have anywhere between 20 and 30 years on you age-wise that watch me, that you don't even know what I'm talking about. You don't remember what a rotary phone was. You didn't have any other communication other than face-to-face in a phone before the government broke up Ma Bell into mini bells. before you had to call an operator and make a long distance call and have her do it for you. You don't remember that. I do. Party lines on phones. Might have 3 or 4 people. You pick up the phone, somebody's talking, you gotta hang it back up to like it done before you can make a call. Yeah, I remember that stuff. I can remember when the biggest amount of electronics you had in the car was the electrical system to start it, run the headlights, and your AM radio, because back then you didn't even have an FM radio. And when we got FM, and then we got 8-track tape players or cassette players, whoa! Now you got Sirius XM, all this digital shit. You have some choices to make, world. America has some choices to make. Are you tired of getting monitored by every swinging dick in any government? I don't care what country it is. Every time you go outside, you got cameras. They got facial recognition. They got the 8 points of whatever the hell it is. They can tell who the hell you are half a block away. And if you're being watched by the government as suspect of being a prepper, being a Christian, being a veteran, you name it, you're being followed, you're being watched directly or indirectly. Somebody's keeping track of your ass. But what do I know? These are just things that keep me awake at night. But, like I say, I'm seriously considered. I'm getting that fucking close. I mean, like, that close to sitting there and telling social sites to go fuck themselves. I'm leaving. Get off all of them. Cut my emailing back maximally. Maybe even shutting this fucker down. I don't know. It's getting to the point where I'm about fed up with it. Get the fuck off of YouTube, off of Facebook, MySpace, a couple other social sites I'm on. Just say, see ya, I'm done with it. As much as you people might be nice, I'm sorry. Unless you live in my neighborhood, you're fucked. You ain't gonna see me no more. So, if all of a sudden you see me disappear here off of YouTube, one of 2 possible things has happened. I signed off and said, fuck you, I quit. Or the federal government or some agency came in and said, this guy's nothing but fucking trouble. We're going to incarcerate his ass. We're not going to tell anybody where the fuck he is. He's not going to get a trial. It's going to be a Star Chamber court type thing. Look up the word Star Chamber sometime. And that's the last you see me. As far as family and friends, well, yeah, they might notice. Hey, you know, where'd Skip get to? Think, people. You really, really need to think. Is all this electronics, all this internet access, all this violation of your privacy, and everything else that goes with it, and these geniuses we elect and send to government, worth all the good shit you have today? There's a video here on YouTube. I forget the exact name of it. It's like One Day After Man. What happens to the world after man no longer exists on this earth? And it goes out to like 1,000 years or something like that. Go look it up sometime. Man, if nothing else, at the rate he's going, is going to end up wiping himself out. It's in the cards. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb truck driver. Just words to ponder. Maybe if I aggravate the crap out of you, you'll end up some nights waking up and saying, the hell was I dreaming about? That fucking ugly goddamn truck driver put this shit in my brain. Now it's bothering me. And trust me, if it doesn't bother you, you're the one that's in trouble. Truck driver's opinion. Have a good day. We'll catch you on the backstroke. Bye-bye.